All right, so we mentioned the other week about parallel and perpendicular lines, so we are going to delve more in depth into that today. So starting with example A, we want to write the equation of each line. So this is line A, and I'm going to do that by first finding 2 points. So here is my y-intercept, that would be 0, 7, and over here I have another point, and that would be 4, 4. Now, we know that I can put these 2 points into list and spreadsheet on my calculator and it will tell me the equation of the line, but I can also do it by hand by finding my slope. Now remember, your slope is your rise or your fall over your run, and I am falling here. So let's see, I go down 1, 2, 3, and I go right 1, 2, 3, 4. So my fall over my run is going to be negative 3 over 4. So to write the equation of this line, y equals my slope, which is negative 3 over 4x, plus my y-intercept, which is 7 for this equation. So that was line A. Now line B is the second line. So again, I need to find 2 points on my line. So let's start with our y-intercept, which is 0, negative 1. And I'm also going to pick this point, which is 4, negative 4. And again, I'm going to find my slope by hand because it is just my fall over my run. And if I count, I'm going down 1, 2, 3, and right 1, 2, 3, 4. So my fall is negative 3, my run is 4, so my slope is negative 3 over 4, and my y-intercept is negative 1. So the equation of my line is negative 3 over 4x minus 1. Now, what do I notice about these lines? They have the same slope, which makes them parallel, because that is the definition of parallel lines, lines with the same slope. All right. Let's take a look at example 2 here. Again, I'm going to start with line A. So let's find 2 points that are on line A. Right here I have 0, 6, and here I have 1, 3. So again, I'm going to be looking for my fall over my run. So I go down 1, 2, 3, and right 1. So negative 3 over 1, which reduces to negative 3. My y-intercept is 6, so the equation of my line is y equals negative 3x plus 6. All right. Line B. If I pick 2 points on my line, I have my y-intercept here, which is 0, negative 2. And I have my x-intercept over here, which is 6, 0. So this time I'm going up, so I'm going to be looking for my rise over my run. And if I count, I'm going to go up 1, 2, and to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my rise is 2 and my run is 6. And this reduces to 1 over 3. So the equation of my line is y equals 1 over 3x. My y-intercept is negative 2, so minus 2. Now these lines, their slopes are opposite reciprocals. That means that the fraction got flipped upside down. So here I had negative 3 over 1, and that flipped upside down to 1 over 3, and the sign changed, which means they are opposite reciprocals. So these slopes are opposite signs, and that means that the lines are perpendicular. Okay, and remember, reciprocal just means that we flipped the fraction. Okay, so that is the definition of a perpendicular line. Opposite sign and flip the fraction. All right, now we're going to be looking at some examples. We want to find the parallel and perpendicular slope for these equations. So starting with number 1, my slope is the number in front of the x. So my slope is 3. Now remember, for a parallel line, my slope stays the same. So for a parallel line, my slope would be 3. Now the perpendicular line, that means it's the opposite sign and it's the reciprocal. So I flip the fraction. Now I can write 3 as 3 over 1. And if I flip that, that would be 1 over 3. And it's positive here, so to get the opposite sign, it becomes a negative. All right, let's look at number 2. Again, my slope is the number in front of the x. So my original slope is negative 7 over 6. My parallel slope is the same, so that's also going to be negative 7 over 6. But my perpendicular slope, remember I flipped the fraction upside down, so I'm going to get 6 over 7, and I change the sign, so it's going to go from negative to positive. Number 3, my slope is negative 1/2. So for my parallel slope, it's going to be exactly the same, negative 1/2. But my perpendicular slope is going to be flipped upside down. So it's going to be 2 over 1, which is the same thing as 2. And it was negative to start, so to flip the sign, it becomes positive. All right, let's take a look at the back side now. Same thing. I am just looking for my parallel and perpendicular slopes. So let's start with number 4. My slope here is 2. So my parallel slope is also going to be 2. My perpendicular slope is going to be flipping the fraction upside down. And remember, 2 can be written as 2 over 1. So to flip that upside down, I would have 1 over 2. And I need to change the sign, so it will be negative. Number 5. My slope is this value right here, negative 3 over 4. So my parallel slope is going to be exactly the same, negative 3 over 4. And my perpendicular slope is going to be the opposite fraction and the opposite sign, so positive 4 over 3. And last but not least, number 6, my slope is the number in front of the x, so negative 1 over 7. My parallel slope is going to be exactly the same, negative 1 over 7. But my perpendicular slope is going to be upside down and positive, and 7 over 1 is just the same thing as 7. So my perpendicular slope is 7. All right, cool beans. Let's move on to number 7. Write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form that is parallel to y equals 2 over 5x plus 2 and goes through the point 15, negative 3. So remember, for a parallel line, my slope stays the same. So my slope is going to stay 2 over 5. Remember, same slope. So that means I can eliminate answer choice A because that is not the correct slope. All right, but I also need to make sure that this line goes through the correct point. So if we go to our calculator and I go to a graph page and I type in an equation, let's start with B, that is 2 over 5x. Oops, did that wrong. Control divide, there we go. 2 over 5x. I still did that backwards. There we go. 2 over 5x, and I hit enter. And if I want to check if it goes to the correct point, remember I can just hit menu 5-1 and I type in the point. Our x value is 15 and it tells me it is 15.6, so I know that B is not the correct answer. So now let's try C. I need to go to a new graph page and I'm going to be typing in C, which is 2 over 5x minus 9. All right, and again, I'm going to do menu 5-1, and we are checking the point 15. 15, negative 3, and that does match the point that I was asked to find. So my correct answer is C. And remember, menu 5-1 is how we find the point. We check our points. All right. Number 8, we're going to write the equation of a line, again, that's parallel to this equation. So my slope is going to be negative 3, and I still am going with the same slope because it is a parallel line, and it is passing through the point negative 413 this time. All right, so if my slope has to be negative 3, I can eliminate every answer choice except for B. And you are going to hear the bell. I apologize. So, how can I double check that this is still the correct answer? Well, if I go back to my calculator and I go to a graph page and I type in my equation, negative 3x plus 1, and I'm checking for the point negative 4. Go to menu 5-1, type in negative 4, and it is at the point negative 413. So I know that B is in fact the correct answer. All right, let's take a look at number 9. This time we are finding the equation of a line that is perpendicular to this equation. So my original slope is 3 over 5. And remember, the slope for the perpendicular line is the opposite sign, and it's the reciprocal. So I'm going to flip that fraction upside down, and it was positive here, so it's going to become negative. All right, so I'm able to eliminate every choice except for D. But again, I want to check and make sure that it goes through this point, negative 9, 2. So I'm going to go to a new graph page and type in my equation, negative 5 over 3x minus 13, menu 5-1, and we are checking for the point negative 9, and it does in fact contain the point negative 9, 2. So D is in fact my correct answer. All right, last one, number 10. Again, we are looking for a perpendicular line. My slope originally is negative 3. And remember, that's the same thing as negative 3 over 1. So to find my perpendicular slope, I find the reciprocal, which is flipping the fraction upside down. And it was negative here, so it becomes positive. And I want it to go through this point. So if my slope is positive 1/3, I can eliminate C and D as answer choices, but I need to check to see if it goes through the correct point. So we will consult our calculator for that. I'm going to go to a graph page, and I'm going to type in the answer for A, which is 1 over 3, x minus 4. And we're checking the point negative 6, so I do menu 5-1, type in negative 6. And that is not at negative 6, 4. So A cannot be the correct answer. So let's try B. I'm going to go to a graph page. And this time it is 1/3 x plus 6. And again, menu 5-1. We are checking for the point negative 6. And it does in fact contain the point negative 6, 4. So my correct answer is B.